If you clicked on this video because of the title, spoiler alert, it's me. I'm the cure for cancer. By me, I mean you. It's in all of us. We all are the cure for cancer because we created it. It's a disease that starts here. I was just diagnosed with thyroid cancer, and the last 6 months I've spent is in and out of the hospitals. I've seen 3 different general surgeons. They all keep saying the same thing, that I need to have the whole thyroid gone, removed. And I'm like, what? You can't do that. That's my thyroid. You know, according to them, I can either start dying from the cancer, or I can get my thyroid removed and then start slowly dying from my other organs shutting down from not having my thyroid. So, pass. Thanks anyway. One thing I realized was just every time I left the hospital, I felt worse. And I'm not saying that's for everyone or every case, but in my case, it has, because I've had these symptoms my whole life. I have like the symptoms of hyperthyroidism. I've had numbness and tingling, and the doctors have never been able to figure it out because my blood work is always perfect every single time I go in. It's like, according to them, there's nothing wrong with me. I kept asking, like, what caused it? They're like, well, we don't know. Maybe stress. So I'm like, okay, so let's get rid of the stress. Makes sense to me. So I'm like, okay, what's been proven to remove stress that you guys do have? Like, right down the hall. They have acupuncturists, they have reflexologists, they have massage therapists, they have dietitians, and I don't qualify for any of them. Fun fact, though, I've been diagnosed with cancer. I am 20 pounds underweight, and I still don't qualify to see a dietitian. Like, how insane is that? Like, I can't even talk to someone about what I should be eating? Like, for real? The only person that my insurance will cover for me to see are general surgeons. And they're all choppy, no talky. What made me decide to do the alternative choice of healing myself and not getting surgery and radiation is because out of all the stories that I've read, and the ones that really stuck with me the most were the patients that did already have the surgery and the chemo and radiation, all that, and it still didn't work on them. And so then what? Then the doctors are just like, oh, sorry, well, good luck. And then that is when they go and heal themselves, because that their will. They don't want to die. They want to keep being here. And I think that is truly the cure, is to start living. The first general surgeon that I saw said that it was absolutely impossible for what I want to do for healing myself with a nodule the size of a golf ball. And I said, no one backs baby into corner. I'm like, "Meow." I asked him how long he thought it's been there, how long Lumpy's been growing. And he said 4 to 5 years. My daughter just had her 5th birthday the week before I saw him. And that was when I knew that I did it. This came into my life because of me. When my daughter was born, I had postpartum depression, or what I thought was postpartum depression. My birth control just actually made me crazy, but I'll definitely talk about that in another video. It was dark. I was in hell. I was in my own personal hell. And that's why I know it's just this little angry ball of hate towards myself, in a way, of just self-neglect. As much as I like blaming my kids on things like being like chronically late, or an excuse to not go to a wedding, be like, oh, sorry, you don't want me there. I have these small, stinky people, loud. I don't want to take away from your special day. This is not one of them. Getting postpartum depression was just the final kick to the cupcake of not taking care of myself my whole life. A lot of women have kids and like to blame their kids on why their body goes downhill, but sweetheart, Good try. Because I know in my 20s, I just lived off coffee and cigarettes and whatever shift meal I could eat standing up. And it caught up to me. So it was just like a trifecta of my body was just like we're done. Like this is the last straw. That was when I knew if I can grow this, I can undo it. I can undo it. Absolutely. It's my body. It's my hot body. I do what I want. Western medicine doesn't heal you. They just treat you. Alternative medicine does heal you. It's more like a long-term fix. Like we're going to take care of the root of the situation. We're going to get down to it. And the Western is just more like, we'll just stick a Band-Aid on it or remove it and hope it goes away. But it doesn't actually solve the problem. Someone gave me Louise Hay's How to Heal Yourself, Your Life. And for anyone that has any kind of like self-help book or anything like woo-woo or out there, there's like a 90% chance that it's produced by the Hayhouse, and Louise Hay is Mrs. Hay, and she cured her cervical cancer. Her belief, this goes back farther than her too, is that all of your emotions are connected to your body, your different body parts. So it is, if you can figure out where this came from, why you have a block in your body, it is just a block of energy. And lo and behold, you heal yourself. And mine directly goes with feeling small. The more obvious reasons, not using my voice. And the fear of not being able to change or not doing what you want to do. And that was another breadcrumb for me. I knew that was me. That was personal. That was absolutely. One of the things I've always heard was like fighting cancer, battling cancer. And I was just kind of like, it's a weird term that we use. And after being diagnosed, it made me realize why Lumpy came into my life is because I have been fighting myself my whole life. I've always been like the victim, and I've always been worried what everyone else thinks of me. And you hit like 30 and it's just this magical year where you're like, like everyone's judging me. I don't have kids yet, and I'm not married, and I'm just gonna die alone as a spinster with a bunch of cats. In reality, only you can judge yourself. And I think that has been the most freeing thing about this experience is I just don't give a rip anymore. Like, they say that like when you're older, you like to become a senior, and all of a sudden like they don't have a sensor. It hit me early, and there's no coming back from that one. Like I found my voice, and now you can't shut me up. Whether, may or may not be a good thing, but we're going to find out. I've just removed everything that doesn't serve me anymore. I have stopped eating Oreos for dinner. I got the stupid games off my phone, and I don't stay up past my bedtime just doing mindless shit. And I get sleep now. That's cool. Cut, caffeine out, alcohol, and all that, all the fun stuff. And there's nothing wrong with moderation in those things, but I've spent a lifetime not in moderation. The more I get rid of that doesn't serve me, the clearer and clearer it gets for me. It just gets easier to listen to my body and what I need. And you start noticing what does bother you. All of a sudden it's like, oh, I haven't had caffeine for a week, and then you have caffeine and you're like vibrating across the room and feel like crap, and then you're like face down on the ground like 2 hours later because you just crash and burn from it. Same with like sugar. I shut down my gallery. I closed down all of my social media sites. I pulled all of my artwork out of other galleries and shows, and for the first time in my life, I've started painting for myself again, and it feels amazing. I've just, Lumpy came into my life, and it's a gift. It's the best thing that could have happened to me because I finally started living. I've got nowhere to go up. And that feels good. Like, ooh. After speaking to the last general surgeon, he was the specialist, the best of the best in my state, and he was going over with me what happens after the surgery, what my life looks like, and said, well, we just start kind of like, I see an endocrinologist and start getting tested to see what my levels are. And then after a while, I go in less and less. It spaces out the visits. And then what this is the kicker, what gets me is then he's like, this goes completely against my 20 years of medical practice, but then we just kind of go on intuition of, if you're feeling better, you must be doing better. And then we kind of stop seeing you. And I was like, oh, come again? You talking about intuition? Because I know nothing about intuition. All right. I know that. I know me. But for real, when I first went in 6 months ago, when I first went into the hospital and started getting tested, I could hardly drag myself into the physician's office because I just felt like crap. I couldn't even walk a quarter of a mile. Since I've been watching my diet and getting more sleep and water and basic necessities, and not to mention mental exercises and stuff, I feel amazing. That's without medication and whatever. And so that's my theory. I couldn't even walk a quarter of a mile when I first started going in to get this diagnosis and stuff. And now it's like I'm walking 3 miles every day and I feel great and I have the most energy I've had in a long time, and soon I'll be able to start jogging again. Maybe. We'll put a pin in that one. Maybe not. I should start jogging. So I knew I wanted to do the YouTube channel for a while, and I was still like building up what I wanted to do, what I wanted to say. I was still a little hesitant because I'm like, all right, well, let's just go make a fool of ourselves, May. And then I had a dream. And it was so clear. Normally my dreams are just very strong images, and then I have to like decipher them. But this time they were like, cure for cancer. And they were like children's blocks. And it was like an equation. And it was almost like an Rubik's Cube. They started like moving around. And then there was one that was like glowing red. And a hand came down and plucked it out. And then they lined up and it turned into 3 green blocks. And then they started glowing like a streetlight. And then I woke up and it's clear as day, it was green means go, May. Like, it's go time. Let's go, baby. And the thing about it is that hand, that little claw hand that removed that glowing red cancer, was my hand. Yeah, it wasn't the doctor's hand. It wasn't a scalpel. It was my hand. There are a few things that I know for certain. And one is what my hand looks like. It was most certainly my hand. And 2, my dreams always come true. That I can promise. Don't believe me? You'll have to just stick around and find out. Starting to go to like the hospitals and stuff and getting the diagnoses and getting the diagnoses. Getting the diagnosis. You know,